Greetings. I am Dr. Joy L. Moore, professor in the School of Information Science and Learning Technologies at the University of Missouri. Currently, I serve as the Associate Dean of Engagement and Outreach in the College of Education and Human Development. During my career, I've had the opportunity to train and observe teachers in various K-12 settings. As our society changes, the kindergarten to high school education system continues to try to catch up with the evolving technology and managing teacher shortages. The teachers in the United States have an important job of nurturing and teaching our kids, yet this job can be fulfilling and demanding at times. For this presentation, I'm going to focus on some of the K-12 trends in education in the United States. During the COVID pandemic, many schools had to figure out how to implement remote and hybrid learning for their students. This created an opportunity to change the K-12 culture. We quickly learned that our schools were not prepared in providing engaging learning activities for students within a virtual environment. So we needed to focus again on how to do good remote, hybrid, online, and blended learning. And what we wanted to do is just change the culture as it relates to how we teach our students. Many parents had no choice but to become more engaged with their kids' learning activities. And many became more empathetic to the daily responsibilities of our teachers while also trying to work from home. Parents were able to see the instructional content and how it was delivered. I saw many comments on social media from parents apologizing to teachers about previous perceptions of their roles because they learned how difficult it can be to keep the attention of kids. We are asking our teachers to work on lots of tasks, and it's taking a toll on them and causing early burnout. Now, this picture shows a somewhat positive side of this family's experience because they have computers and digital access to the learning environment and activities. However, there is another side to the story. In the United States, the Pew Research Center implemented a survey and learned that 59% of parents with lower incomes with children in schools that were remote noted at least one of the following 3 digital obstacles: a lack of reliable internet at home, no computer at home, or needing to use a smartphone to complete schoolwork. Thus, a digital divide still exists in the United States. There were many pandemic lessons and takeaways. Some lessons that affected our K-12 schools were an inadequate technology infrastructure. It illustrated the inequities in our society. Some students would visit restaurants and businesses with the internet that had free internet to complete their homework or to participate in virtual classes. As such, there needs to be different activities that do not rely on a computer and internet, but rather maybe smartphones. We are still learning about the long-term effects of those directly impacted in schools, and there may be big differences between students in elementary, middle, and high school. Reports are starting to show that some students were less academically prepared when they began in-person school again, and there were more difficulties in student behaviors. Another lesson is I've worked with many people who had limited technology experience other than their smartphone or iPad or tablet. They tried to take virtual courses at home and became easily overwhelmed with the multiple windows and needed to practice any activities during the demonstrations. Video conferencing tools such as Zoom and Microsoft Teams need to provide intuitive options to split screen when a person has only one monitor. And another big takeaway during and after the pandemic, we expected teachers to be able to learn new tools and instructional methods while also dealing with their own emotional changes during the pandemic. There needs to be more emphasis on preparing teachers for their emotional toll that happens in the profession due to overwhelming demand from parents, students, and administrators. Our kids are learning a lot of outside classroom behaviors when they are on social media, imitating others and learning good and bad behaviors. 90% of 13 to 17-year-olds have used some form of social media, and 75% have a profile on these social media apps. And most of this access is through smartphones. Again, they're learning so much, so we consider this a type of informal learning environment that they're in on social media. Teens are big users of social media apps. In 2013, only 50% of teens had smartphones. The 2018 Pew Report noted a big increase in smartphone usage by teens in different demographics, with more than 90% of different students in different demographics using a smartphone. The phone has become the common tool. Small computers to help in some ways to reduce the digital divide among ethnicities, gender, and educational levels. As we continue to prepare teachers, there must be ongoing professional development for teachers to keep up with evolving educational practices and technology. Helping teachers understand how to integrate activities with smartphones instead of computers can help those students who do not have internet access in their homes. Training teachers on how to implement new teaching methods and strategies effectively is also important. And for teacher preparation programs for in-service teachers, there should be a stronger emphasis on skills and competencies in online, blended, and hybrid learning. An education trend in United States is now personalized learning, wherein education is tailored to individual student needs, allowing for differentiated instruction and customized learning paths. Also, some schools are utilizing adaptive learning platforms and tools to support unique learning paces. A method to implement personalized learning is to use mobile micro-learning modules that can be accessed from smartphones. The modules can include short videos or presentations to teach concepts and skills that can be easily reviewed multiple times. Also, the modules are available just in time when a student needs to complete an activity. This method has the potential to increase memory retention and reduce cognitive load. Another trend is project-based learning, wherein students develop real-world problem-solving skills by working on collaborative projects that encourage critical thinking, creativity, and teamwork. This also supports more of a flipped classroom approach, wherein students view instructional materials at home, but focus on homework during class sessions in teams. As it relates to making the right decisions to support student learning, schools are using tools that provide instant standards-based insights to improve teaching and learning. Changing the way that students submit assignments to support performance tracking and analysis is necessary in all school systems. Although understanding different subject matters is important, the social and emotional learning of students is just as important and valuable. Education is now looking at ways to address students' social and emotional well-being by focusing on self-management, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, social awareness, and self-awareness. Understanding our cultures and experiences is important for improving self-awareness, empathy, and responsible decision-making. To assist with social and emotional learning, culturally relevant pedagogy helps students feel affirmed in their identities and experiences and develop the knowledge and skills to engage with the world. The framework was coined by Dr. Gloria Ladson Billings in the early 1990s and rests in three fundamental pillars: academic achievement, cultural competence, and socio-political consciousness. These three pillars work in tandem with one another. In other words, a culturally relevant teacher cannot focus on one pillar without so inherently focusing on others. Cultural competence requires that teachers understand culture and its role in education, and that they take responsibility for learning about their students' culture and community, and interrogate their own identity, culture, biases, and privilege to critically assess and strengthen their instructional practice. Now, social political consciousness requires that teachers actively educate themselves and their students on the personal and social political issues that impact their students' communities, and the world, and that they incorporate this into their teaching. This also means that teachers encourage students to think about and question why things are the way they are, and encourage students to see themselves as agents of social change and transformation. When students are empowered to think about the status quo among people within communities and society at large, we become better at working together and learning. With the educational trends that I have discussed, there are more demands on the teachers. It was recently published in the US Today that 86% of public schools struggle to hire teachers. And to be honest, the percentage of teachers not staying in the profession are increasing. The politics for state officials, pandemic impact, and the low pay affect the recruitment and retention of teachers. Some final thoughts. For our K-12 education system to be successful in providing positive experiences for the students, it depends heavily on the parent-teacher relationship. Positive and frequent communication between parents and teachers can improve students' academic achievement, social competencies, and emotional well-being. When parents and teachers work as partners, kids do better in school and at home. Although educational trends bring new ideas and ways of learning, the parent-teacher relationship can provide the foundation for students to be successful. Thank you for viewing my presentation. And if you have any questions, you can email me at morejoy@missouri.edu. Have a great day.